Hi, this is D13, and welcome to Thundertown. Alright, so here we are on the East Gate. We're looking at doing some wall upgrades here. So the wall was very small when we started out, and over time I've continued to add and add to this wall to make it bigger and, more formidable. So the first thing we see here is I found this skull asset, and I thought, boy, if I can put skulls all along here, this would really make it look cool. So now I'm copying the skulls over now that I've got them in place. Turns out when I built this wall, these concrete pieces were not exactly perfectly spaced. Now I thought, I really would love to add a moat to this side. Sort of a medieval castle feel. So I started with getting these bridges, and I PO'd them and got them into place where I thought I might want the moat to be. So I put in some roads and raised roads and rail bridges I dropped them to ground level, and just started lowering the terrain through here. The terrain throughout the entire town is really low. Water will actually start, if you have water going around here, it will actually fill in this area. But I didn't really necessarily want water in here. I wanted to sort of fake the water. So now I'm using the terraforming asset here to sort of level out the edges, to bring them in a little closer, and I put it down at the bottom as well so that it's nice and smooth and flat down at the bottom. And here I come with my gray flame rocks here again. And I'm pretty much using the same rock over and over. And luckily this rock has enough variation that you can just repeat it over and over and it doesn't look like you have. So you got to do both sides if you're making a nice rocky trench. You can see there I put in some concrete slabs there over the top of the roads on these bridges to make them look like you're traveling from the road to the bridge and back to the road. Now, I was trying to figure out what to do at the bottom of this. I want the very bottom of this to be dark, so you can't tell how deep it is. So again, I started using some concrete and coloring it darker and making it bigger and trying to just spread it across the whole bottom of this moat. It doesn't quite look like water yet. So that was sort of phase one of building the moat. And I thought, I need some water, something to be flowing into this moat, like soup, more like raw sewage. And something that would keep people from wanting to swim across it. So I took this water outlet or water pump and I PO'd it again and stuck it inside the rock here. I mean, I probably could have used the Procedural Objects mod to just reduce it down to just that little pipe, but it hides pretty well underneath here. So then I use the waterfall that I've used elsewhere to create a little bit of flowing water down into here. Now here I am repeating this over and over throughout here to make it look like a lot of pipes are coming into this area. Then I started looking for water, like that water prop that I've got. Then I PO'd it. I'm trying to get a nice color to it, something dark. And I'm putting it just above the surface of the other, the concrete that I put down there that's dark. So when you see through it, it just looks deep. I'm pretty sure I removed it at this point just because I wasn't exactly happy with how it looked. So So now I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen on the other side of this moat. I need to move some of these towers and things that were at the wall farther out. This is actually from a little bit later. Oh no, these are the drawbridges. So I wanted these bridges to look like drawbridges from a castle. So I put these big round... I looked online and I found some bridges that raise like this. They usually have these big hinges, so to speak, at one end of them. So I got a hold of some of these, shapes that you can PO, and I created a hinge there. Put a concrete slab in. And now I'm trying to figure out how would I pull the bridge up. So I got some of these big steel beams that I've used elsewhere. And I colored them to match the bridge, or pretty close to the color of the bridge. I'm sort of building a little structure on the bridge that looks solid enough that if you attach some cables to it or something, that you could probably pull on that and it would go up. You probably would have this a little farther out on the bridge just because of the way levers work, and the way, for leverage on this, you'd want it farther out because then it would take less force to actually raise the bridge. So then I brought in these cranes and I PO'd them, and I thought I got to get them on top of this somewhere. And these cannons were in the way, so I thought, I'm going to move the cannons, and I have a solution for the cannons that'll, I hope, will be coming up shortly. There, I got it in place. Have to mess around with a little bit of the concrete that I keep grabbing by accident. With so many procedural objects, it can actually get quite, messy trying to get a hold of the exact object you're trying to move. So there, I copied it over to the opposite side, and we have two of these big cranes now that would be pulling it up. I was trying to figure out, do I want to cover the crane? But in the end, I think I just decided to stick with the crane as it is. I put this little building here. This might be like where the motor is that assists the cranes. Some sort of functionality, would be this building would be something like somebody's monitoring their inside there, and maybe they pull the lever that causes the cranes to go. A little bit of detailing here. I got a hold of a door that's got some high voltage warnings on it, and one of these little power boxes, I believe. So now I want to copy the hinge to the other side. Try to line them up evenly so that it would be a smooth transition if the bridge were to ever be in a raised position. I do not actually have any bridges in an up position. The west wall, I was considering doing another moat and having one of the bridges in the up position on that side. I don't know if I'll ever get around to doing that. But so I copied it over to the other bridge, and you'll see both of them now have this. So then I wanted to put the cannons back somewhere. So I thought, well, I could put these big concrete blocks in here, put them into positions where I can put cannons on them. So I think I'm going to copy this over about 5 or 6 times and have a lot of cannons facing away from the town here. Yep, that's what I'm doing. So this little walkway here, I found these little, I don't know what you call them, ramps. So I'm putting them in here, and I'm trying to line them up with these concrete, because you can't walk along the next level up very far without running into those concrete pilings there. So I decided to move them around so it'd be easy to get from the walkway below to, up to the next level there. And I was doing this before I really realized too much how to work with the POs, and I could have been merging some of these vertices to try to get this to look or to have less points, because really, the town, as I keep doing more and more POs, is getting a little jittery. Some of my cinematics, there's pauses in them and things like that. I was trying to find some doors that I can put right on the fronts of these, and then I thought, I'm just not gonna mess with the door. So then I thought, I gotta have military here. So this will be like a military checkpoint. So I went and got a lot of military props, and I just started plopping them down here and to see what might look good as I filled in this area. And the military vehicles that are on the workshop, there are some that are just so detailed and so amazing. So now I'm putting down these tents back here in the corner. Sort of a little outpost, a couple of sheds. Trying to figure out how to put other buildings back in there that were functional. But in the end, I do put in a path that people can walk along, and underneath the wall, hidden from view, I put in a road. So anything that's really close to the wall can still have service access. And I think I actually put some of those cubes inside the wall so that there'd be people around here that would be walking around and using the paths on the outside of the wall. So there I am, barricading it up good. I'm putting in all these little barricades and that nice rusty wall or rusty fence that comes from the what is it? I believe it's part of the pack for the junkyard that's on the workshop. So I put this building at the end here. I would think this would be some sort of a vehicle service building or something like that. Maybe a warehouse for supplies. So you see me just copying and moving these buildings around, and this is where I start moving these guys around, putting them in little groups, putting them by the doors here or by the gates. I haven't actually got the gate doors in here yet, but I took the underground tunnel entrances. So I took the underground tunnel entrances and I removed everything except a single door. I just shrunk it all down to, I think I was using the PO mod to get rid of everything but the doors. And then I was able to move doors around the town and put them on all of those entrances, and I could turn them a little bit so they all were slightly buried. And here I'm putting a cannon operator or something up on each of these. This is this cool little dog prop. So I had this like guard dog along with some of the soldiers that down below by the gate. I found these ladders, sort of like fire escapes. And I put them in here, and I have it so that they look like they're raised up a little bit, so that you can't quite get to them. And the point there being is that the bottom of the ladder would be it could be pulled down or moved down, but if you were on top, you'd pull the ladder up so nobody could get up to you, or at least it would be harder to get up to you. All right, so I went back to doing a little more detailing of the moat at this point. I threw a little bit of junk in here, a couple of, upside down cars and things over time. So now I went and got this glass asset. I thought I think it'd be better if it was shiny, and this glass prop that I turned into a PO does a really good job of making a reflection. So here I am going back and getting rid of the concrete that was down below and just saving a single piece that I made really dark. And I just expand this one piece of concrete all the way down to both ends. Now I'm moving some of the rocks out of there so we have a nice smooth reflective surface of whatever's down there. Oh, here's one of the upside down cars. I think there's some tires, and I put a skeleton down there as well. Oh, here's those doors I talked about. That's having me move the barricades a little bit. So these are the kind of doors that could be closed if they were trying to shut the town down. You'd pull the gate up and you'd close these doors. Oh, and of course, the barrels. Yeah, you have to have lots of barrels, just like everywhere else in the town. So here I'm looking at this center section, and I was thinking for the future, what do I want to do there? So I thought, I'm going to put in a checkpoint. This will be where the people cross over the moat. This way the bridges, I turned off the ability for pedestrians to go across those bridges because the single piece of road that goes across is the kind that doesn't allow pedestrians. And the pedestrians also can't walk along the rail. So here I put in a path just to get things going. I figured now people will walk from the other side, and there is one. So they're walking from the small town that I had built just inside the gate to come outside here. This was done a little bit later, so there's actually a town. You can see a fence right there and some buildings that I'd actually started working on the town, which you'll see coming up soon. The weird part was this little walkway here actually disappeared on me 3 or 4 times as I was building, and I don't know how I accidentally deleted it. So underneath this right here that you see, there's an invisible walking path. And I just put it all along here, even though it doesn't go anywhere on either end. Sometimes you'll see a person walking along it, but mostly they come across that bridge and they go over here to the side and they go around the end. So now I was detailing on the inside of the wall a little bit, and I thought these big these big fire things at the top here would probably need some sort of pipes coming up here that feed it with whatever fuel they're burning up there to have all these big burning fires. Now the fires serve no purpose except for someone coming towards the town. They're going to see these huge flames shooting up in the air. And again, it's just more to create a sense of fear in anybody who approaches the town and wants to attack the town. There would probably be roving gangs out in the wild that would want to ransack the place, you know. In an earlier episode, I said that there'd probably be some small towns outside the walls. And this is sort of, you know, like a medieval type of thing, right? In a medieval city or town or castle, there'd be a small town built up around the outside, and it would just be the kind of town that would just sort of be in the way of an invader, but it would just be, you know, something they would come in, ransack, burn down, and it would be all the lower level citizens, the people who maybe did work in the town, but didn't have high enough security clearance to work in any of the, or to live in any of the special areas inside the town. So now let's sit back and enjoy the cinematics. Next episode, East Town. Eastgate Part 2. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you'll like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. Alright, so here we are looking at the Valley rework. This is where I decided I needed to go through the whole valley and make sure that there were PO cliffs everywhere. And I wanted to re-terraform everything so that it all really worked out, so it was a really nice valley. So I went through making sure that you could only, that I worked on the stuff that you could see from when I was doing cinematics. So I thought I'm just going to do this area here in the valley, and then I'm going to work my way out. So I went a little bit farther because I thought I might want to do some cinematic shots following the trucks or cars coming into the town. Way back in the distance there you can see some rocks formations that I used initially and then got rid of. So you can see I'm trying to get a good position so you can see the very back of the mine area. I originally planned to do some faraway shots, so I put the name Thundertown in giant black letters. You'll see them off to the left here. You're getting a pretty good shot at the valley here in the state it was in, I believe, right after I finished the mining area. This is before construction started on the tire and rubber. Or the water. I think the waterworks is finished here as well. But I was starting to get to the point where I really wanted to do some nice cinematics, and I really wanted to have this all finished. Now, it is a lot of procedural objects. I do sort of feel that the stuttering you see in some of the cinematics in later episodes comes from there being so many. So I did do some experimentation with highlighting and making layers out of some of them. And here we are. This is where we're at the end of this bonus content. We'll see you at the end of next episode for more.